So you give me the go-ahead. I'd like to welcome everybody to the meeting tonight. Today is Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. This is the Warren County Board of Supervisors regular board meeting. I'd invite you all to please stand with me and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Are there any agenda deletions? Roll call, please.
McIntyre?
Here.
Peter?
Here.
Snell?
Here. Are there any agenda deletions? No? Okay. I would like to take a little bit of privilege here before we get into the main part of the meeting. I believe some of you might be here for discussion related to the congregate meal and Meals on Wheels program. Just to reassure you, we will be having a budget work session following our regular board meeting to actually talk about budgetary issues. I don't believe that we are planning to make any changes at this point. I'll leave it up to my colleagues here when we talk. But in our work session tonight, that will be a more informal setting, and we will actually have discussion about, and we'll have 3 presentations first before we'll actually get into any conversation about the budgets and all that sort of thing. But I don't anticipate, and maybe my colleagues can step in and say anything here, but I don't anticipate that we're going to probably make any significant changes to the way that the congregate meal program or the Meals on Wheels program is going to be operated. So just to let you all know that. Otherwise, we welcome everybody here this evening, and hopefully that you enjoy our meeting, and when there's an opportunity that you'd like to say something, please feel free to do so later in the agenda. Can I have a motion for the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Roll call.
McIntyre?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
Snell?
Aye. So items A through G have been approved here. Item 2 on claims.
I'd like to make a motion to approve claims.
Second.
Motion and second. Roll call, please.
McIntyre?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
Snell?
Aye. Item 3 is to consider appointments to the following boards or commissions. They include the Board of Adjustment, Historic Preservation Commission, Veteran Affairs Commission, Weed Commissioner, and Zoning Commission. I think we need to have just a little bit of a conversation about that and maybe put forth, let's take one board at a time and deal with the issues that are there. So as we look at the Board of Adjustment, my understanding is that we have one appointment that needs to be made, and we have had a couple of candidates for that. Would somebody like to propose approval of one of the candidates that have been listed? If not, I will go forward, and I would move that we reappoint Jacob Grook to the Board of Adjustment.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
McIntyre?
Sustain.
Peter?
Aye.
Snell?
Aye. The next one that we will deal with is Historic Preservation Commission. I believe we need to have 3 people, and there are 3 people that have been suggested for inclusion on this board. Would somebody like to make a motion to appoint the 3 people that have been suggested for that board?
I'll make a motion to approve Elodie Opstad, Judy Russell, and Scott Wright to the Historical Preservation Commission.
Do you want to do a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
McIntyre?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
Snell?
Aye. The next board is the Veteran Affairs Commission, and we need one And there is one person that has been suggested, and this would be due to the retirement of Dave Caskey, that we need to appoint this person. Can I have a motion?
I can't find my
Okay.
minutes, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to approve Thomas Thompson for the VA Commission.
I will second. Roll call, please.
McIntyre,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Snell,
Aye. The next one is the Weed Commissioner. This would be a reappointment of Scott Homer. I will just move that we reappoint Scott Homer as Weed Commissioner.
Second.
Roll call, please.
McIntyre,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Snell,
Aye. And Zoning Commission. We have several people to consider. We have several that would be reappointments if we would choose to go that direction. Do I have a motion to reappoint some folks?
Sure, I'll make that motion to reappoint those on the, is it zoning commission?
Are you doing all three names?
Yes.
Okay, so it would be Hugh King, Mary Jo Onimus, and Sean Westrom have been moved for reappointment. Are you seconding?
I am seconding.
Okay, roll call, please.
McIntyre,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Snell,
Aye. Okay, we're going to then move on to a presentation of the 2023 CLG Annual Report with possible action. Who is here to present that? Is there somebody from the historic?
There he is.
Yeah, come on up here, please.
Skip's here. You used initials,
Sorry.
which threw me
I
off.
was just reading it as it was in the agenda. And so everybody understands, CLG stands for Certified Local Government Annual Report.
Oh, okay.
Isn't
Which
that,
is
isn't that
the-
what- Certified Local Government Report? Isn't that what you're doing, CLG?
Yes, that's
Okay.
exactly right. I always thought of it as a historical commission.
Well, I think the formal name here as it's presented is Certified Local Government Annual Report.
You are right, it is.
Okay,
In fact, it's right on the form. What we have, and there were a number of questions, I presume that you received all of the questions that the state gives and all of those. Additional information, our group works pretty much as a team, so different people do different parts. One of the things that Elodie had put together, which I thought would be very helpful for you. And you can probably pass that up there, and you can have copies for you. Or you can, you're doing minutes. But this is a list of all of the achievements that we've had for the last 2 years and for the kind of what's on our plate to begin with for this coming year. And I don't know if you have any questions on any of the questions or,
Supposed to be some. I'm sorry.
oh, no problem.
I have no questions.
I really don't have any questions. I think it was pretty thorough, the way that it was pretty well.
Elodie is an incredible person, and you passed her onto the board again.
Yes.
Are there any of the projects that you want to just kind of highlight as far as the activity that took place?
Let's see. Let's see, did you give that one away? Oh, good. I'll borrow it, put 'em on that. This year, one of the things that has been, I think, helpful is getting a better handle on what our entire group is about. And also, we've been helping a lot of people, or several people, for getting an understanding of what the historic of their property is, and trying to help with funding on that, and an understanding of what would be a successful modification or update that then still retains the historic value of the property, because the historic value of the property is also, I suppose, reflected in the assessed value.
One of the things that was mentioned was the Hasty gas station flooring. Could you go into a little bit of explanation as to what that was all about?
The Casey gas station was put on the historic register a while ago. It had been upgraded, and it, on the outside, looks terrific. But the inside, the floor system is essentially a wood system, and it's beginning to collapse. So we need to do some work to replace joists and use treated wood, even though that might not be exactly historic, but it would last a lot longer.
Sure, sure. And so is that something that's available to anybody that has a historic-related property? How would they make contact with the Historic Commission and say if they had an interest in restoring their property?
We have a website of our own with all of our contact information that are on the board. In addition, I believe it's on the county website with all of our contact information.
That's good. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
I think that should cover it.
Well, thank you very much, Skip, for all your
Thank you.
presentation, and thanks for taking the time to present here tonight.
Oh, another item that we did help, and I don't know if you want further help, on the administration building. With the windows, we helped. And I understand you're looking at other items on it. This building is on the historic register.
Yeah.
And all of the board members would be willing to help, and even one of us is registered as an architect.
Well, we appreciate that offer, and we'll probably take you up on that, as we have in the past.
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you very
Appreciate it,
much.
Skip.
Let's see here. I think we need to take formal action on this. Can I have a motion to receive the report as presented and file it accordingly?
I'll make a motion to approve the 2023 CLG Annual Report.
Second.
Roll call.
McIntyre,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Snell,
Aye. Now we're going to look at, to consider interfund operating transfer for the Conservation Department with possible action. I believe this is kind of a, we are providing the fiduciary, I believe, on this. Is anybody from Conservation here to speak to that? Megan?
So the Conservation has a reserve fund that can be used solely for land acquisition and capital improvement projects. With the budget, it was budgeted to have a $50,000 transfer go from the general fund into that reserve fund for the year.
That's what I recall. Any questions?
No questions.
Can I have a motion to approve the fund transfer?
I'll make a motion to approve the interfund operating transfer for the Conservation Department.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Oh, wait. Don, do I need to put an amount on there?
I'm sorry.
Should we put an amount?
Go ahead and put that on.
Okay. I will amend my motion to reflect $50,000.
Is that accepted as a second?
Accepted as a second.
Okay, motion and seconded as amended. Roll call, please.
McIntyre,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Snell,
Aye. Thank you. Next item is to look at the FY25 DCAT contracts or amendments with possible action. Is there somebody here to speak to that?
I can speak on this. Really, it's just protocol to sign it. We're reimbursed from the state. We earn 5% off of the administration fees, and I process them, but the contracts are all the same. It's really just so that you can sign the
The annual
contract.
renewal.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay.
Is there a motion to sign the contracts and amendments for the Family Assistance Contract, the First Amendment to the DCAT Coordination Contract, and the Eighth Amendment to the Community Support Contract?
Is that a motion?
I can make that motion.
I was
Somebody
gonna
want to
say-
second it?
I was going to say, I'll make the motion
Okay.
to, for the board to have the authority to sign those contracts as you laid out.
Okay. Motion by McIntyre. Do we have a second?
Yeah, second.
Okay, a roll call, please.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye.
Snell.
Aye, thank you. Now we're going to receive and file reports for general assistance, recorder, and Veterans Affairs. Any questions, or somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make the motion to receive and file the general assistance, the recorder, and the Veterans Affairs
Second.
reports.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye.
Snell.
Aye. Now, we're getting to the fun part of the agenda. Let's see here. We're at supervisors' reports. Who would like to speak tonight? Do you have
I will.
anything you want to share?
I can go ahead and just,
Okay.
or did you want to go, Crystal?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Darren, if you'd like to go first?
Just wanted to talk about one of the meetings outside the administration building that I had with Fire Chief Chia from Indianola and with Tim Hill from our engineering department. And we are working on the occupancy date for the engineering building. And I want to thank Chief Chia. He's, I think I've seen well over 7 or 8 emails from him trying to get the jurisdiction to allow us occupancy. So he's working very hard with the state, and takes a lot of work to do it. And I just want to thank him because I think that's going to allow us to occupy that building, at least 2/3 of it, right away.
Good.
So we're just looking forward to that. So that's one meeting. I also attended a conference board meeting, and then just the regular Board of Supervisor work sessions and those types of regular meetings that we have all the time. So that's my report.
Okay.
Thank you.
Supervisor McIntyre.
Yeah, thank you. I attended the VA Commission meeting and the Ackworth City Council meeting. Also listened to the last budget session. I was held on February 22nd, 2024. And then I'd like to talk a little bit about the Exploratory EMS Committee, because it seems to be a hot topic about EMS and rural EMS as opposed to city EMS. I'm just going to read what I had posted on Facebook. It said, Warren County EMS, in November of 2023, the Board of Supervisors appointed myself to research EMS. So 3 Warren County fire chiefs, an EMS captain, and myself started meeting in December. In late January, we had 3 mayors join us, 2 rural and 1 large city. There are 3 Iowa Code chapters that allow for levies for EMS. You, the public, have to vote on it in order for it to take effect. And I'm going to read that again. You have to vote on this levy in order for it to take effect. The start of the process would be this board, the Board of Supervisors, declaring by resolution in an open public regular meeting that EMS is an essential service. Right now, the state of Iowa does not recognize emergency medical service as an essential service. Now, if you live in an incorporated area, that means within city limits, your city provides EMS for you. If you live out in the rural unincorporated areas, there is a levy by your townships that goes up to 67 cents. And that is not enough to cover the volunteer or the city that may be assigned to your area. And with it's called House File 718, the legislators have basically put a property tax freeze, so those in the city who have full-time staff of EMS are no longer willing or able, it's not a matter of will, I think they want to serve you if you live in the rural, but because of these budget restraints, they're not allowed to. So the board, knowing that this is and was a priority for us to deal with last year, we met with all of the fire chiefs back in March of last year. We asked them to come up with a plan and bring it to us. we did not receive a plan, so in November, that's when the board took action and asked me to research it. So right now, we don't have EMS for the rural. Yes, we have fire districts, but during 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., you are not guaranteed coverage by those within your district because they are out working at their other jobs. So what we are trying to do in this exploratory committee is to come up with the best levy that would cover staffing for those volunteer departments. Now, we have 2 departments within Warren County that are volunteer that are very well staffed because they have a waiting list for volunteers. And one of them has come up with a creative way to pay them. But the other departments, the fire departments, have not been able to have the volunteer list or waiting list like the others have, and so they are hurting. And in turn, that hurts the service that they can provide to you. This is not a dig on any of the fire departments and their willingness to want to serve you. It is a matter of getting volunteers, and there just aren't any out there that are willing to serve during that 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. because they're out serving their families, trying to earn their living. So as the start of like I said, the Board of Supervisors has to declare by resolution that EMS is an essential service in Warren County. And that means that we would then be able to levy for that. But then that has to go on a ballot in November of this year. But we have to have 2 public hearings about the plan that we want to present to you. Now, what we're doing in this exploratory committee is trying to come up with a plan and get all of the fire chiefs to understand and to have input so that we don't just bring this out into the public and they have no knowledge of what's going on. We want everyone to be on the same page so that we can present this to everyone at the same time. So, and if you have any more questions, I'm available afterwards. Any questions from the board?
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome.
Thank you for sharing that. As far as what I've been involved with, as we've been discussing now over several meetings, as of last week, we finally had our HERDA partnership agreement approved. And that, just so everybody understands what that is, HERDA is the Heart of Iowa Rural Transportation. And they provide transportation for people that maybe are going to doctor appointments, other types of things, and it's based on a by appointment, on-demand type system. Anyway, what is happening here in Warren County is that we have provided a site and place where those vehicles can be parked. And we're going to be doing that across the street at the, what is known as the Temple Grounds here, and we'll be actually having the vehicles parked there, and there will be a regular lease agreement that has been now approved with HERDA, and we'll be receiving some reimbursement for any improvements that we're making to the site to make it possible for those vehicles to be there. And then they'll also be using the facility slightly for conference room and restroom for the drivers and things like that. So I just want to thank my colleagues here on the board that has now gone through the full process, and HERDA has approved that.
Good.
Yep. Other meetings that I had recently included, I was served on the Impact Board. It was a rather routine meeting where they were going through their budget situation. I believe Impact is going through some reorganization based upon what I'm seeing. They had a lot of extra money that had come through that organization during the pandemic period. It's kind of like going through the come down after you've been on a high, so to speak, and now they've had to make major adjustments in the budgets because those funds that were being used during that pandemic period are not there like they were. So there's some dramatic changes that are occurring there. They're not all complete yet, but they're in that process. Their CFO actually is no longer with them at this point in time and has gone on to something else. So they are actually going through a lot of, what I'd say, internal change as a result. I also had the opportunity to speak to Leadership Warren County here a week ago, and it was a great opportunity to be up at the Carlisle City Hall and to actually help younger folks than myself learn about leadership and what it was like to be in a leadership role here in the county, and encourage them to take a role themselves. Also, we had the Warren County Conference Board, so that everybody understands what that is. The county assessor, while they are here physically in the administration building and are part of our payroll system, that assessor is actually hired in tandem or in conjunction with two other entities, all the school districts in Warren County and also all the municipalities in Warren County and the county itself. We come together as 3 units, and we have a conference board. And we had the conference board meet about a month ago to initially approve the upcoming assessor's budget, because the county cannot do it singularly. You have to have all 3 entities be involved. And so last week was the public hearing for that budget that was presented a month ago, and that has been approved now. So that, and it's an interesting deal because the Board of Supervisors actually convenes the meeting and serves as the chair for that particular activity. So that was an interesting thing. Also, we had the CERTPA Board, which is the Central Iowa Regional Transportation Planning Agency, which we're a part of. And this deals with primarily transportation-related activities. It's very important as we're going through and seeking state and federal funding for roadway projects and other things. That CERTPA is a group that we are active participant in. They have now stepped up and are making a move to be with another entity called MIPA, which is Mid-Iowa Planning Agency, and those 2 things we had to last week meet to finally approve all of that coordination of a combination of administration activities. So that kind of gives you a background. I was also working on budget work sessions, as you have also. And we are, speaking of work sessions here, we're getting towards the end of our agenda here. We do have a public comment time here that can take place. And if people do want to speak, you're welcome to make comments. You can, you will be limited to 3 minutes. And the board will not take any action on any comments due to the requirements of the open meetings law. And, but we do so in the future. So public input will be allowed for any of today's, no public input will be allowed for any of today's agenda items that have already been approved. Does anybody wish to come forward and speak? Please state your name and your address so that we can put it into the record.
Marilyn Holderman, 19057 Drake Street, Carlisle, Iowa. I do not see on the agenda that nutrition is on this following
No,
this,
because that's at the front of the meeting, if you recall, I talked about that. That's going to be in our,
may not be able to stay for
Oh,
your discussion
you're
following.
welcome.
So anyway, I want to come and bring you my concerns, not only for this year, but for the future years. And my concerns in regard to the congregate meals. I know when you had your budget hearing with the budget director, I know there was someone from Norwalk, from the Ministerial Association, that basically was in need of this program, along with some other needs that you have up in that area. The Carlisle site is a very active site. I don't know about Indianola, but I do know they have a site. And I said we have very large crowds, especially on Tuesday and Wednesday. The city helps supply activities. We have had Tai Chi. We have aging resources that comes down. We have very good cooks. We have people that come early, play cribbage. There is more to this nutrition program than food. It is social. We have a lot of widowers that do not cook. This may be their only meal, but it's a balanced meal. We have them in wheelchairs and walkers, canes, up to the age of 96 years old. So, and I do not know about the delivered meals. I was on the steering committee when you did the new jail. Toured a lot of jails, several jails. I came to one, I'll tell you who it is, it was Jasper County, and one of the committee asked, we were in this beautiful kitchen, asked, where are the cooks? Well, there wasn't any cooks. Why? Another one asked, it was because it was too expensive. They contracted the meals out for the prisoners. Again, I brought it up, my concern of joining these two, and I was assured there wasn't a problem, that it would be more efficient to have one kitchen. You folks have the data and all the information, and so I said, okay. I didn't bring it up again, but I still have a concern, since now we do seem to have a problem with dollars. I do have something I would like. I'd like to know the number of seniors that are served. I'd like to know the number of prisoners served. I'd like to know how much comes in for senior donations, because that is a subsidized program. I'd like to know how much of the federal and state dollars come into this nutrition program that I call seniors program.
I don't think there's any state.
The seniors receive, most of the time, 5 meals a week. The prisoners are receiving 3 a day, 7 days a week. When I was at the meeting, budget meeting, an estimate was giving of $7.61 per meal. As I said, the seniors' meals are subsidized. They're asked for $4. They're subsidized not only with the meal, but also purchasing. I figured that up at $7.61 for 3 meals a day is $22.83. For 30 days, it's $684.70. For 12 months, it's $8,218.80 for one person. I took a number from out of the sky of 50 prisoners. That comes up to $410,000 and $410,740 a year for 50 prisoners. This is small, not small change. I just feel that the sheriff's budget, and you discussed this at your budget meeting, was not probably paying enough. And therefore, I think that needs to be looked at very carefully. I understand this sheriff's budget is high.
Marilyn,
I
I'm
get
sorry,
that.
I'm sorry to cut you
Yeah.
off.
But that is my request, that we do not balance the sheriff's budget on the backs of our nutrition.
Thank you
There's
for
an
your
old
comment.
saying that goes, you folks may fall into the same line. Someday you may have a problem in need. My grandfather used to say, when he looked at someone who has a problem and needs help, there but for the grace of God, go I.
Thank you, Marilyn. Anybody else want to speak? Please come up, state your name, your address for the record.
I'm Wilford Ripperger from Indianola, and I like, who's the person that's closing the wheels, and who's making the decision?
For,
Is it supervisors, is legislators, are closing all around Indianola or just Warren County?
you mean closing what was the question again,
What is the
sir? I'm
question?
sorry.
Who's the one that's closing Meals on Wheels?
Nobody.
person-
Well,
Okay,
actually, let me restate, the purpose of this time right now is just for you to speak. It's not for us to respond. We will be having a discussion time following this where we will be talking through budgets. So if you want to stay for that time, you're very welcome to, and I think many of your questions may be answered at that
Okay.
point.
I haven't heard a protest of closing Meals on Wheels for the seniors of Warren County. 20 years ago, my wife and I delivered meals to the needy seniors from Lacona. We saw firsthand how much was appreciated indeed by our seniors in their 70s, 80s, and 90s. They would make the money and afford the luxuries people do today. It's been a great benefit for them. In the early 50s, I served in the Army in Korea, making $120 a month. After I got out of the service, I worked at a factory at $2.05 an hour. A lot of our seniors can't afford the cost of food and luxuries today. A lot of seniors depend on a good, healthy meal 5 days a week. It's a difference in staying in their home and being in a nursing home. And if you think the government will save money by closing Meals on Wheels, when it's likely more will be on Medicaid in a nursing home at $6,000 to $8,000 a month, you're barking up the wrong tree. The last year and a half of my life, I was able to keep our home with the help of Meals on Wheels. Years ago, I served as a rep to Aging Resources from Warren County. We had both Republican and Democrat supervisors. They were both 100% for this program for our seniors. Now I'm close to 91. It's been a blessing to help me to be able to stay in my home. I think they're making a great mistake wanting to close down Meals on Wheels for our seniors. I know some are trying to promote a flex card to use to go out and buy a big old greasy hamburger, but you can't get a good healthy meal like Meals on Wheels. A lot of seniors are handicapped and hard for them to get around to go out to eat. We voted them and the people in office is responsible for this to help our seniors, not to take benefits away from them. I urge you to think twice about what they're trying to do to our seniors. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Again, if you'd come up and speak your name and also your address for the record.
My name is Mary Thomas, 19299 Keokuk Street, Ackworth. And I know you're going to hear what probably all these people wanted to say again from me about, okay, I'm going to try not, about what the congregate meal site means to my people. And I call them my people because I run the Carlisle meal site. It's their mental health, it's their social hour, 2 hour, 3 hours, however long they're there every day. It's, you know, the kids who are in Arizona for the winter, whose dad doesn't show up for lunch, and I'm calling them at 8 o'clock in the morning saying, is your dad okay? Because he's not here, because they're there every single day. And it's kind of their insurance policy that somebody besides just families looking out. It's a place where people who are new to town can be walking through the parking lot one day and somebody can say, you know, you should go in there and see what's going on. And then that person has been there every day since, except for when he was in the hospital. Okay, I'm going to stop now because I'm going to cry, but I would also like to invite, and Crystal has been there, but I would like to invite either of you to come over and join us for lunch anytime. Talk to my people, listen to what they have to say and how they feel about the program. We eat every day at 11.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else want to come up? Please, again, come on up to the microphone. State your name and your address for the record.
Norman Rice, 155 North First Street, Apartment 4, Carlisle, Iowa, 50047. I'm one of those people that's a couple years away from being an agent resource, but I go to the Carlisle meal site because I'm disabled. I became disabled in November of 2020, and 18 months later, the Social Security Administration agreed. I'm one of the bingo callers for Bingo Day. I have a lot of fun. We play cribbage all the time, and yeah, talk more about the social aspect. Everyone's going to talk about the nutrition, but I see the social aspect. What happened when we took our kids out of the schools? You know what's going to happen when you take the people out of this congregate meal site? You're going to create despair. And people are just going to wither away. Almost everyone sitting behind me, I guarantee, is a widow or widowed. They don't have anybody else. All their children are gone. I'm kind of that way. I'm an empty nester myself and getting used to retirement. And so it's just so nice to have somewhere that I can go, that everyone can just go to and just have a good time together. It's a lot more than just food. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to come up? Please come up forward and come to the microphone. Oh, I think there's a, okay. Whoops. Okay, please come up, state your name, and give us your address for the record, please.
Herbert Wendt, live in Carlisle, 625 South Fifth Street, apartment number 8. I moved to Carlisle 2 years ago from Des Moines. I don't want to do this. My very first time living by myself, so I have no one except 4 walls and a TV to talk to, which creates loneliness. Loneliness can make a person go crazy or insane. Insane means affected with a serious mental disorder, impairing a person's ability to function. To counteract, stop from becoming insane, a person needs a social relationship, enjoying the company of other people. That's what congregate senior meals offers, spending 3 to 4 hours daily with friends, playing cards, conversation, and enjoying a meal. I was approved by Warren County Housing Association for rental assistance, probably could get food assistance also. I would rather have congregate meal keep open, which provides everyone a meal daily plus friendly companionship. I have no family living in Carlisle area, but now I have 30 to 40 people I consider family thanks to congregate meal in Carlisle.
Thank you. Thank you. I believe we have another person here in the back that wants to come forward. Oh, she's coming up. Do you mind if she goes first? You can go next after her. Again, please speak into the microphone. Give us your name. Pull it down. Give us your name and your address, please.
Okay, my name is Marjorie Jane Davis, and I live here in Indianola. My address is 306 South 4th Street, Indianola. And I got involved with congregate meals when my mother came down with Alzheimer's, and I had to quit my job, to take care of her. But I think it's the one thing that she just insisted on. And when she got her days and nights mixed up and she'd get me and I'm sleeping and she's yelling at me from my door, Margie, it's almost 11 o'clock. You've got to get there right now. And I'm like, Mom, it's dark, we got to get this straightened out. But she would not miss a congregate meal because it meant everything to her, everything to her. And when she passed away several years ago, and my friend said, we need people to run congregate Meals on Wheels. Can you do some? Yeah, I can. Boy, I jumped at it. And I'm not sorry that I did, it's just great. I got maybe 25 people that I deliver meals to, and it doesn't take me that long. I only do it like once a week. And it's just everything. and I really worry about people if I knock on their door and they don't answer. I want to know why. I want to know why. So I think it's a vital thing for our community to be respectful of our seniors. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. I believe, sir, you wanted to speak too?
Marvin.
Again, state your name and your address.
I'm Marvin Lewis, 830 Market Street in Carlisle, Iowa, and I've always been a strong proponent and a supporter of the current meals programs for several reasons. One is that you do get nutrition so that you can support yourself physically. And the other aspect, of course, is the socialization, which hopefully keeps our head a little bit more in the ball game. And it's the program itself is a tremendous resource, whether it's within a town or within a county. And so you're to be commended for that. The one thing I am going to ask you tonight, though, and that is you spend about $250,000 of county tax monies investing in seniors, and this is an essential and a keystone project. I'm going to ask you to put in about somewhere less than $50,000 more and expand it to the southeast quarter and the southwest quarter of the county. There are people that need that. The people that can use that, and these are people that have been in Warren County, have lived their life, built up the county. They're in their twilight years, but they're not dead yet. Okay? And so this is a thing that I know because of the time frame, you probably cannot dink with your budget at this late stage. I think you have to submit it like March 15th, something like that. But as you go through this next year, I would like to see you look around and see where you can find money to help bring up the congregate meals program. I mean, we have a pretty strong Meals on Wheels program, but the Meals on Wheels program misses that social aspect. And for some of those that are out there, I'm sure they still have a feeling of isolation. They don't understand what the events are going on into their communities. And yet, if you can keep them in their home, I think a meal runs about $4 of county funds, or about $1,000 a year. If they have to go to a nursing home, what, $120,000? You can invest $1,000. Okay. So anyway, you've got a good program, and the taxpayer actually comes out smelling like a tall dog on this, because they're also the ones that have to pick up the costs of the nursing homes. And so this is a strong program. You should build into it, and I would like to see you expand it.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Yes.
Is there anybody else? Please come forward.
Used to be a supervisor, Marvin.
Please wait till you get up here, and then state your name
My
and
name
your
is
address.
John Epperson. I live at 812 West Orchard in Indianola. I didn't really plan on talking. But my wife and I got involved in delivering Meals on Wheels. It was actually one of our daughters who got us involved, and she moved away, and so we kept up. The nutritional value of that is important. The congregate meals are important, but the social aspect, some of the people that we deliver to don't make it out of their homes. Some of them live in trailer parks, just really poor parts of the county. Just this last Monday, we were delivering a meal, and the woman came out and hugged my wife because she just was there talking to her. We don't spend a lot of time. We've had an instance in which Mary, my wife's name, was delivering the meal, and the woman didn't come to the door. She had a medical emergency. We got an ambulance there, and she's since passed away. And she was, in a nursing home, but they didn't catch her. So this is very important. It's important both in terms of the individual recipients. It's important in terms of nutrition. It's important for my wife and I, to be honest with you. We get to see parts of the community that normally we just don't. So anyway, there's that.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else? Please come forward. If you'd state your name and your address, please.
My name's Kathleen Moore. I live at 1303 Wesley Lane here in Indianola. I'm a retired pastor. I spent some time in the small town of Delhi, where they had congregate meals that I joined them for at least once a week, and I was so impressed. 5 times a week they had it. We should think about that. The little town of Delhi, 5 congregate meals every week. And I saw how, for some of my parishioners, it was the only time other than church on Sunday when they got out of their homes, mingled with people, and really had a time to be in society. And I really grew in my appreciation of congregate meals at that point. I've retired here to Indianola, and my sister and I have become a team. And it's so heartwarming to be able to deliver Meals on Wheels to people. I can't begin to tell you the number of times that it's really been just the right time that we've been there at someone's home. The man who had fallen to the floor and couldn't get up. If we hadn't been there with the meals, who knows how long he might have stayed down there. Just today, I had a man who invited me in to stand there in his doorway as he was looking for a phone number. And I looked around and realized he has so little. I could see a hardback chair, a stool, 2 end tables, no easy chair, no couch, and that's what he had in his main room of his apartment. He has no transportation. A number of the people that we deliver to would not be able to get to congregate meals because they don't have transportation. And we don't realize how many of our neighbors are in this situation. And then there was the woman who invited me in one day. She said, "Could you step in a minute?" And I stepped in. She said, "There's a man sitting in my living room. He says he's my husband, but I know he's not." And I said, "Well, let me come with you and see him." Well, I talked with her husband, and I said, "Yes, that's your husband," which made her, it just made me cry. She suddenly realized that she has gotten to the point where she doesn't even recognize him. But I was able to stand with them, my sister waiting out in the car wondering what's going on. I talked with them for 5 or 10 minutes, just helping them to know there's somebody who cares, that they could call me anytime if they had a problem. These are the personal relationships, and to me, congregate meals and Meals on Wheels are such a no-brainer. It's something that we can really do for our seniors and really make a difference in lives. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Is there anybody else that would like to speak? Seeing nobody else up here, our next meeting date will be Wednesday, March 20th, 2024 at 5 p.m. Can I have a motion for adjournment, please?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion
Second?
and a second. Roll call, please.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye.
Snell.
Aye. Just for everybody to know, we are going to adjourn for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to reset, and we are going to be doing our work session for